Why does everyone make it seem like it's so bad if there are girls that are like, yeah, I want a rich man, like I want my husband to be rich? A lot of people are like, okay, well, you only want to get nice bags and nice shoes, and like, yeah, I do, but what about when I'm married to this guy? Is my husband gonna make sure that my kids go to a good school? Is my husband gonna make sure that when I'm pregnant that I'm not gonna be working and all I'm gonna be doing is worrying about the health and the safety of my baby? And when my baby is born, I could just focus on being a mother. God forbid if anyone gets sick, can my husband make sure that I don't get stressed, that we have the money to make sure everything is taken care of? Anyone in my family can get the best medical treatment possible, because medical bills are expensive. I am a nurse, I know. Money is not everything, but it's a lot. And it can definitely change your life. So if I and any other girl wants to say, I only want a guy that will do X, Y, and Z for me, stop judging her. If you want to work hard like a man, you don't mind being pregnant and working, which is so crazy to me. But if you don't mind these things, I don't care. That's none of my business. But get out of my business too.
The problem with your approach is that there aren't enough wealthy men for so many broke women. And there's something many overlook. A man with money also has experience, power, and judgment. He didn't get there by being naive, so he's very likely to protect his assets, whether through a prenup or by simply avoiding commitment with someone who isn't on his same economic or social level. As we'll see in this video, where two women call out the so-called femininity coaches who sell women the illusion that they'll land that millionaire man. If you enjoy this content, help us reach 200,000 subscribers and drop your comment with your opinion. Now, let's get started.
About a year ago, I posted a video saying women who marry for money are corny. I got fried on the internet. However, like many great philosophers, I think my ethos was just a touch too early for the times. I do think the internet is now ready to hear my side. However, instead of saying women who marry for money are corny, I'm going to say women who aspire to marry for money are delusional. And I'll point out three main delusions. I know this from lived experience. I went to one of those fancy New England prep schools. I went to a top 12 school. I had interned in banking. A lot of my friends work in banking. I've worked in tech. I've worked in finance, blah, 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 blah. I know that world, so I can tell you from lived experience. So delusion number one is who these men are actually choosing. I think what made this discourse so exciting in the beginning is it made women believe that a man is going to pluck you from obscurity, from the town that you hate, from the job that you hate, and he can fundamentally change your life. When in reality, these men have a very specific pool of women that they're selecting when they're thinking about partnership. They are selecting women from the business school that they went to, the undergrad that they went to, the pre-professional programs that they are part of, the members-only clubs that they are part of, where they summered over the vacation, family, friends, or maybe through friends of friends. Like maybe he's having a housewarming in his apartment loft in Tribeca and his best friend brings a homegirl and that's how he meets. But it's all through very proximate and concentric circles. And let's say you do get lucky and maybe you connect on Raya or a night out. The second he brings you around friends or the partner at the law firm and you can't talk comfortably about certain things that only people who grew up talking about those things can do, it's a wrap.
A round of applause for this woman. She spoke the truth, plain and simple. Most successful businessmen I know aren't dating girls from poor neighborhoods, and they're not chasing women obsessed with landing a millionaire. I worked in sales, met plenty of wealthy guys, and spent time in places where high-net-worth men socialize. The women, just like in the intro, were nothing more than a casual weekend, because they're not the kind of women these men are looking to marry. The women they do marry come from their own circle. Many of them choose wives from good families, with established names and social standing. Circles you won't belong to, even if you become a millionaire tomorrow, because you don't speak that language. Let's continue.
The second delusion is what the experience of dating this person is actually like. Social media has made it seem like it is countless shopping trips and Chanel bags. The reality is, whether you're dating someone who inherited wealth, who is creating their own wealth, athlete, entertainer, they're always traveling, they're always on the road, they're always working. They have zero time to pay attention to you. It is an extremely lonely relationship. Essentially, you are effectively single with some moments of partnership. Their priority is and will continue to be work. Also, the sort of like attention-seeking behavior that you could get away with someone who wasn't as focused on their career cannot happen. You need to have a robust, full life, a job that you love, friends and family for you to even feel fulfilled in a relationship like that. Because if you're looking for your partner to spend a lot of time and attention on you, it's just not going to happen. I also don't even know where the notion that these finance tech bros are out here spending money and buying Chanel bags. They must have the best PR on the planet. They work for their money. They are some of the cheapest people you will ever meet. And I don't even mean that in a pejorative sense, but I mean that in like when you have to earn your, like spend 15 hours at a desk in order to earn your money, you are not going to spend that on a Chanel bag on a girl that you met 2 weeks ago. And I think that's another thing. I think a lot of people conflate the experiences that they might have with like athletes and entertainers with people who work in corporate tech finance. It's not the same. And the third delusion is I think a lot of people grossly overestimate how much money you will get in alimony or child support. So women, I am telling you this from insider experience. The easiest and less painful way to become a millionaire and have that soft life is to do it yourself.
It's funny because
Exactly. Earn your own money. Stop chasing that millionaire man. He can spot a gold digger from miles away. Trust me, they can tell. In places where men go to do business or in wealthy suburbs, take a look at the women working in nearby clubs, cafes, or restaurants. Most of the waitresses are very attractive young women because they're trying to catch the attention of these men, not just for the tip. And you might ask, what kind of man actually pays attention to them? The 25 to 30-year-old millionaire, the son of a business tycoon? Of course not. It's the 50 to 60-year-old man who knows she's after his money. He understands that with a relatively small amount, taking her to a few nice places, she'll be happy because that alone dazzles her. That's why you always see these dating coaches without a husband, never quite landing the millionaire they tell others to pursue. Coincidence? I don't think so.
women.
I fear the JFK show has activated a delusion in the feminine psyche, which is the delusion that a rich man, a very rich man, is going to come and pluck you from obscurity. Now, first of all, this needs to be said right off the bat. On the off chance that this happens to you, you're not getting JFK Jr., you're getting Hunter Biden, you're getting Elon Musk. You're not actually getting them, but that's the energy that you're getting. The goods will be kind of odd. And all of these femininity coaches giving the same generic advice. Oh, go and sit and work in a hotel lobby. Ma'am, if you do that, not only will the rich men know, all of the women at the hotel will know, the staff will know, everyone knows. And if you can't understand nuance, I'm not saying that if you love a beautiful lobby like the Santa Monica proper and you're an architect and you like to go sit there and answer emails, that's not giving the same energy as this. Like, you're there to work, they're there to work. And everybody knows. I lived in a resort town. I lived in Ojai. There's not a lot to do there. So on the weekends, sometimes you go to Santa Barbara and have lunch at the Rosewood Miramar. Very nice hotel, by the way. And immediately upon walking in, when there were women there doing that, you can tell from their outfit. The outfit alone will give it away.
See what I'm telling you? Everyone can tell you're a gold digger. You're not finding the man of your dreams in those places. You're getting a fun weekend where some guy uses you, and by the next morning, you never hear from him again. Because you're not the woman he wants to marry. Not every man is into a boss-type woman. But keep this in mind. Those men aren't looking for a woman without family background or higher education either. Even if she doesn't work and focuses on the home, her last name and her family give her connections that are often more valuable than money. Let's continue.
Rich people dress very differently from how women who are trying to appear like that dress. It's a bad pantomime of wealth. And the people who I do know who were kind of plucked from obscurity by the weird, eccentric billionaire let me just tell you, they are paying for it by the energy they have to deal with, you know, whether that's like they're with a man who regularly gets him kicked out of hotels because he smokes in the hotel room, or the man is expected to be allowed to have multiple sexual partners and you don't get to ask any questions. If it's a Nepo situation, you're dealing with a really weird, psychotic family dynamic and probably a lot of enmeshment. You're not giving Amal Clooney, okay? You're giving like Fashion Nova ambassador. And the one thing money can't actually buy is love. To get love, you don't seek love. You have to remove all of the obstacles that prevent you from being love, from being in that vibration. And that vibration is fear-based, scarcity-based. So when you operate from that vibration, that is inevitably what you will attract. Also, the idea that this is like high value dating, and it's sort of coded in the same way as like presenting very aloof, pretending to be busy, being dismissive, pretending to be unavailable. All of these things
Here's another uncomfortable truth. You're not offering anything that a younger, more attractive woman can't offer. And let's be clear, coming from a humble or working-class background doesn't stop you from finding a good man. The problem starts when you show up with unrealistic demands, that he earns 6 figures, is 6 feet tall, has a perfect physique, while you're not meeting that same standard yourself. There's also a complete disconnect from the reality of these men. Most businessmen are not that over-the-top, alpha character you see on social media. They're regular guys, focused on work, short on time, more likely to be in a cafe with a laptop than at a nightclub. That millionaire you see online is a fantasy. The real one is more low-key, more practical, and not interested in impressing anyone by wasting money. This kind of man is looking for a down-to-earth woman to build with, not someone who expects him to drop $5,000 on a weekend date and a Chanel bag just to go out with a broke woman. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why do average women seem so drawn to chasing millionaires? Do you think a wealthy man is out there looking to marry a broke woman? If you enjoyed the video, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and keeps us motivated to create more content. Stay tuned for the next video from the wall.